Everybody, it's Josie here. I'm going to be talking about what queer entertainment and lit I consumed this past weekend, as part of the first queer lit kind of readathon weekend. So Kathy, who is one of my all-time favourite YouTubers, they host like a queer lit readathon, and what they've also now started doing is kind of doing queer lit weekends, so we remember to read more queer lit, which is always good. But what I did this weekend was I read some stuff, but I also watched a new web series. Obviously we're all staying home, so I'm calling this Queering Up Quarantine, and consumed other kind of queer media, so just really immersed myself in the whole world. So I'm going to talk about what I read, and then I'll talk about the other stuff as well. So the first thing I read was this book over here. It is called Havenfall by Sarah Holland. This was one of the books that I kind of had on my list of anticipated books that I wanted to get, and I got it as it came out, and I was not disappointed. First of all, how cool is that cover? Second of all, this is a fantasy book, so it focuses on Maddie, who is the main character, and Maddie has an uncle who runs this kind of inn in a town called Haven. And the premise is that this inn is kind of the neutral territory to all these different worlds. So you've got, I think, 4 different worlds. And there's kind of doorways into this inn. And one of the worlds has been, and they have like annual summits where all the delegates come from the different worlds and they're hosted at this inn. And her uncle provides kind of, he's the host, and that's a safe space, and it's a haven for all the different species. And then one door has kind of been locked down because they're seen as evil and shifters, so shapeshifters. And so Maddie also has some history with this because her brother was attacked when she was young and killed, and her mother is actually in jail for having killed her brother, but her mother wasn't the one that did it. She believes it was a shifter. So she comes to Haven because she's kind of at a crossroads in her life. She doesn't know if she wants to go to university. She doesn't really want to. She kind of wants to follow in her uncle's footsteps and become the new keeper of the inn at Haven. And kind of the story takes up from there. I really enjoyed this. I really liked it. I thought it was interesting. The queer element is there is a lovely lady that Maddie meets along the way who is queer. Also, her uncle is married to a man. There's a lot of kind of gender, kind of sexual fluidity in this book. So the idea, it's just said, oh, that's his husband, and it's not a thing. And I think also, from the writing of the different kind of species that you have in this, or the different kind of groups of magical creatures, for them it's not weird at all to be attracted to both men and women. So it's great. I love that. So it's a very queer read. I really, really love it. And I enjoyed this immensely. And I think it was a great way to kind of immerse myself in a different world and kind of get away from our own. So I would give this 4, maybe even 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed my read. So let's say 4 stars for this. It takes a lot to get me up to that 5-star mark, but I really enjoyed this. So I would definitely recommend this as a great fantasy read. And it does end in a way that I'm pretty sure there's going to be a sequel. It's not an unsatisfying end, but I'm sure there can be another one. So if you enjoyed it, I'm sure there's going to be another one. Then the next one I want to talk about is this book over here. It is called Apocalypse Baby by Virginie Despentes. I said that wrong. My French is terrible. So this is fascinating. I've been wanting to read this for a while. You can see I've tapped some of the pages in here. So this is basically a kind of a thrillery detective novel. So Virginie is a French author, so this is a translated work. And it is about a woman, and I can't for the life of me now remember her name, which is really, really bad. I'm really sorry. But the main character, she works in like a detective agency, and she's tasked with keeping tabs on a teenage girl of this not a rich family. So the father of this girl is a novelist, and they live in Paris, and they're quite wealthy, and she's been asked to keep tabs on this girl. And she's not really paying that much attention, and the girl kind of disappears. And the story kind of picks up from there, is just trying to find out what happened to this girl, and then but also intertwined, and then she meets this awesome character, this awesome woman in this book who is very gay, and she's just she's a badass. I really love her. I love the character. And this book it's kind of hot because I said it's like a thriller detective book, but then it also has sort of elements of commentary on families, on you know, social norms. There's an orgy scene in here, FYI, lesbian orgy scene. There is, yeah, there's kind of sexuality talk in here. There's female romance in a way, if you want to call it a romance development. Yeah, it is fascinating. I really enjoyed it. It's not your average thriller at all, by no means, and I don't even know if the thriller element is the most important part, but I really liked all the social commentary and just the characterization in this book was very cool. So I would give this 4 stars as well. I definitely think it's worth a read. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I think they call the other character the Ghost, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry. I know I should probably have checked before that, but she's amazing. Yeah, she's kind of also a detective and sort of a bounty hunter-y type of person, but I enjoyed this. 4 star read. Then the next one, I was meaning to get to this one while I was doing kind of reading for Women's Day, but I've gotten around to it now, and that's the Batwoman comic. So this is the Many Arms of Death. This is kind of the rebooted Batwoman comic, and I love this. First of all, the art style is gorgeous. I really love the art style. It is queer as heck. I was just looking at Kate, so Batwoman's hair in this, and I'm like, I think that's what I'm going to go for. Seeing as I can't really go to the hairdresser anytime soon. That's why I keep wearing beanies. I may as well just let my hair grow and do that. And dye even brighter red. But it is awesome. So everybody is aware of the Batwoman. Well, I don't know if you're all aware, but Batwoman has been turned into a TV series starring Ruby Rose, who is my future wife. She just doesn't know it yet. And this is kind of the comic, the illustrations in this comic, they do look a bit like Ruby, which is great. And I also watched the first episode of Batwoman on TV. Loved it. So happy. So that was my kind of TV queering. So it ties in with so I wanted to read the comic and then watch the show after, so I wanted to read the comic first, but I highly recommend, if you like graphic novels, if you like comics, this Batwoman one is amazing and just queer as heck, and it's wonderful, and I loved it. Story's really good as well. And then the last one I read was A Queer Little History of Art. So this book basically celebrates queerness in art throughout the ages, queer artists, queer representations, expressions, the body, all of those good things. It's really good. I actually, I'll show you one of the drawings. That's Frida Kahlo, yeah. So I actually went to an exhibit that went along with this at the Tate Britain last year. Might have been the year before actually. And this was the book that kind of went along with that exhibit, but it's really interesting. If you're interested in art, if you're interested in queer art, this is definitely a recommendation. And then the other kind of media that I consume, so I kind of made it my mission to listen to queer artists' music while I was doing my daily workouts, because I can't get to the gym and it's driving me crazy, so I need to work out a lot at home. So I was listening to Tegan and Sarah, who are some of my favourites. I was listening to Gaga a lot. She kind of motivates me. Her albums are great. I was listening to George Michael, listening to a lot of Queen. So I was trying to just kind of get a lot of that in. Oh, and I love Melissa Etheridge. Good rock music to get you going when you're lifting your weights. So I was doing that, and then I was also discovered this fantastic new Dutch drama series. So I just posted my video about going to Amsterdam, obsessed with all things Dutch, and it's called Anne Plus, and you can find them on Instagram. If you type Anne Plus in, you'll see their site, and basically this is a drama about a young woman, lesbian, and her kind of lives and loves set in Amsterdam, and you can get the episodes on YouTube. And it is so much fun, and I'm really enjoying it. And then I slid in a couple of episodes of the Carmilla web series as well, just to sort of entertain myself, because I really love the Carmilla web series. And actually, if anybody's read the book that goes along with it or watched the film, can you let me know if it's any good? Because I'm not sure whether to do it, because the web series is great. So that was me queering up quarantine this weekend. I hope you had a good one. Again, I hope you're all safe and well. Thank you for watching. Comments down below if you've read any of these, or if you can recommend anything based on this. And I will speak to you all again very soon. Bye.